Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from At Home with Quita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So today, baby, is all about how I stay organized and how I get it all done, which is my planner, by using my planner, okay? So in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my exact planner routine and how I do it all every single Sunday, so that way I can set myself up for success. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, so from top to bottom, from A to Z, from the rooter to the tutor, I want to tell you guys and put you on game with exactly how I developed my planner routine and how you can do the same thing for yourself. So that way, if you're thinking of ways that you can do more, get more done, stay more organized, all the things, this is the video for you. So let's jump right on into it, and I'll share with you guys my exact planner routine and what I do every single Sunday. All right. So first and foremost, I made a lot of changes to my planner, so stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a flip through this week. It is time for me to share with you guys all the changes, and so we'll be doing that this week. All right, so we're going to start from a very high level. Now, from a very high level, for me, I need a way to dump everything out. Now, I have a few different capture systems, and I did a video on this channel how I, kept up with things I needed to capture, all the different capture systems that I use, and how I clean those different capture systems out and what I stuck with. So check that video out. I'll try to remember to link it for you guys so you can look at that. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of capture system, and what I mean by that is like a note-taking system or somewhere to offload different tasks and things that are in your brain, so that way you don't just keep them in your brain, because the chances of you getting things done is going to be very minute if you do that. If you keep it in your brain, you're never going to get it done. So you need to have a system. So for me, my system is a couple of different things. So first and foremost, if I'm digital, because I don't take my planner every single place that I go, because I just don't, it typically stays at the house, then I use my phone. So I use my notes app. I also use Notion when it comes to work and planning for social media. So that way, if I have a random thought that pops into my mind, I can put it in my notes, and that way I can take it out of my notes when I get home and I can put it in my planner. Also, if it's an appointment that I'm trying to keep track of, I make sure that I put it in my calendar on my phone, and then I still come and transfer that task or that appointment from this digital calendar into my planner, because this is the main source of where I look at things when I see, hey, what do we have going on for the week? So my main capture systems, once again, digitally, are Notion. I'm not going to do a breakdown of that because Notion is a lot. I do have a video here as well showing you my Notion and what I use it for, but Notion is awesome. And I love it for just keeping up with ideas, because those are things that you're not typically going to write in a planner unless you have maybe an ideas planner that's specifically for that. It's going to be too much. So I use Notion, and I have it broken down for the different businesses that I have. So that way within each business, I can come and I can, write in or log in, whether it's a YouTube idea or it's a short form video idea or just an idea in general, a product idea, whatever it is, I have a way to offload that. And if there is a need for me to transfer it from here to here, I will. Now, typically the only things that I will transfer from here to here when it comes to work is video content, because I do schedule all that in my planner. Okay, so digitally, that's the way that I offload my things that are inside my brain into some outlet, so that way they can eventually come here into my planner. Okay, the second way is via an inbox system. So within my inbox system, again, if I'm home, which is most of the time, I'm going to come here and I'm going to offload anything that needs to get done onto my inbox system. Love these inbox inserts. I'll try my best to link everything that I talk about, but you can typically just go into our shop, look in the various categories. You can shop by goal, you can shop by, whatever. I have everything organized pretty well in the shop. So whatever you're looking for, you should be able to just do a quick search and you should be able to find what you're looking for. So this inbox is a great way, and that's why it's in the front of my planner. I did relocate it, but this is the first place on a high level for me to be able to dump out my random thoughts and things that I need to get done that don't have a date necessarily assigned to them. So as you can see, I have a bunch of things that I need to get done, and they don't just stay in your inbox. You are going to categorize them by when they're due and then the actual category. So that way I know what section to put these in or how to categorize them within my planner system. Okay. So you want to use every single section of this so that way you can have everything just more, organized. Your thoughts are more organized, and you know where to assign these different tasks, because you're going to refer to this first when you're planning your month out. Okay. Because that's how it starts for me. I plan yearly, monthly, daily. I don't do hourly. I don't do block scheduling, any of that. I do implement different systems to try out to see if maybe that switch up is something that I need at that time in my life, but I typically go back to my same style of planning. Okay. So the first thing is your inbox system or some high level system. And I'm going to show you another way that I use my planner at a high level to be able to organize my appointments and things like that. Okay. This is typically going to be a place for you to dump everything out. All right. Your inbox system, you're just going to put it all here. And if you're new to planning, this is kind of a place where you can start. You can grab an inbox system like this. I kind of talked about this in my last video, the 5-minute planning system, and just write out every single thing. Do a brain dump, just write it all out. And then when you get ready to plan your month out, then you can start to chip away at some of these tasks. Again, that's why it's important to use the due date, so that way you know how urgent it is. Okay. So this is where I start. And then when I sit down on a Sunday, because again, the inbox system is just random stuff that comes up and pops up into my head that I know I need to do, I'm just going to write it in there. And then I'm going to look in my digital capture systems to see what I need to transfer out of those digital capture systems into my planner. Okay. And then my secondary high level is an at a glance pages. So this is our year at a glance. And so that's how this looks. We're going to be releasing 2026 stuff soon, so stay tuned for that. We're just trying to get through our stationery box. We do have a subscription box that goes out quarterly, so I'm trying to get that done first, and then I'm going to dive into the 2026 products. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is my secondary high level system. Now, I typically don't pull things from my inbox and put them here unless it's an appointment or something like that, because that's what this is for. This isn't for random to-do list items. This is if I'm going somewhere. Appointment, something that's important that I'm going out of the house for. Okay, so vacation, anything that you're leaving the house for is typically going to go here. But again, you can use these pages however you want. And so as you can see, for my September, which is the month that we're in right now. And so what I'll typically do when I get a new planner is I'll come here, or when I make a new planner, because everything is from our shop. And just so you know that, because I get a lot of questions about what insert is from where, anytime you see any product here, it's going to be from Fancy Plans Co. Okay. And so I'll come here when I build a new planner or print a new planner, and I'll fill in everything for the whole entire year. Okay. Everything that I know. And then as things start to come up over the days, months, or the year, then I'll just fill them in here. So that way I can pull things from here, transfer them into my regular monthly calendar. So when it comes to filling out my monthly calendar, I'm going to look at my inbox and see what tasks I can pull. If they're urgent, I'm going to go ahead and assign them a day. If they're not urgent, I'm going to pull them from there and put them on my to-do list. And I'll show you that in my weekly spread, because there are some times where tasks, you want to get them done during that specific week or that month, but they don't necessarily have a due date. And so you want to be pulling those tasks from your inbox as well as the things that have due dates. Okay. So when I sit down on a Sunday, this should already be filled in with all the things. All right. Now, sometimes I do have to go look at external things like my daughter's website for school. I do go ahead and put in the school calendar at a high level, but every single week they send a newsletter, and in that newsletter it has different things that they have going on during the week. So I look at that and I use that to fill it in here. And so I typically try to do that on a monthly, and then I have to do that on a weekly basis too, because things change weekly. Some things like tests and things like that I won't know about until the week of. Okay. So I'm going to sit here on a Sunday and I'm going to look if it's the beginning of the month. If I'm planning out my month, I'm going to go ahead and fill in all these days. week by week, I don't come here because I've already pulled all of this from here and I've already put it on my monthly calendar. Okay. So this is just super duper high level to come in to fill in all the dates that you know are occurring. And then as things come up, you're going to come and you're going to fill them in. All right. So when I get ready to come for October, I'm going to go ahead and fill these things in for October. And I'm steady filling in things for October, November, December, even though it's September, as things come up. All right, so then this is where it starts for me for real, for real. Okay, so every single month I sit down and I pretty much plan the same exact way. And this is just for my personal planner. This isn't for my work planner. As you can see, I have a whole different section for that, and that's a completely different process. Okay, so when it comes to this monthly, I'm going to pull the tasks over from my at a glance pages. I also am going to look at my inbox and see if there's anything that I want to write in my planner from my inbox section. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll say, hey, what things do I want to get done that I want to put on the calendar that probably aren't to-do list items? Okay, because remember, to-do list items, I'll show you where I put those on my actual planner spread. This is really going to be appointments and things like that. And again, this is probably already written at a high level on my at a glance pages. I'm typically coming here to pull a few things that I want to get done and start to chip away, because some things on this list are like clean gutters, clean inside a car, clean windows, fix bathtub, clean blinds, things like that. Okay, so those are the kind of things that I'm typically going to write on my inbox list. If there is a appointment or things someplace I'm going to, because I have this future log here or this at a glance page, I can write it here. There's really no reason for me to put it in my inbox, if that makes sense. All right, so transferring tasks from my at a glance pages on my monthly pages. I do also look at the previous month, to see what I wasn't able to complete. And I'm also going to either put it back on my inbox, which I try not to do because we want to get stuff done. And that's why I try to be very realistic with what I can accomplish. Or I'm going to go ahead and transfer on to this month, so that way I can make sure that I'm getting it done. Okay, so I always look at the previous month to see what I need to push. This always going to stay the same. This is monthly tasks that I try to do every single day. It's just a little reminder of things that I want to do, like check in on someone, and I'll show you where I write all of this. Anniversaries, I want to check to see if there's any outings in the area. Like this weekend we have the Swanee Fest in our area, and I like to try to see what we can attend. I also look at the school calendar, if we have extracurricular activities, study ideas for our family worship, anything for education, PTA, things like that. I'm not on the PTA for this year. Addison is in person at middle school. And so I didn't sign up because we decided last minute to put her back in school. You know, she was homeschooled and she convinced us to go back in person. She's doing great. She has all A's. I ain't gonna hold you, Addison. Okay, I love that for you. And so when it's working, it's working. And I told her, if I see something I don't like over and over again, we pulling you out. And that's just what works for our family. Don't come for me. Okay, so right now she's loving it. She's in orchestra. She plays the violin, and she also does piano. She does a couple of different things. And now she says she wants to get back into tennis. So I have that on my to-do list to figure out how we can get her signed back up for tennis. Okay, so these are just monthly tasks that I want to make sure that it kind of triggers my mind to remember to write it in, plan for it, or research it. Okay, and then I was trying to do some sort of color coding here at the bottom. I probably won't do this again. I also have some reminders, like Addison also says she wanted to do gymnastics again. So I just have a little sticky note so that it will remind me to sign her up. Okay, and then I plan pretty much the same way every single week. The first thing that I do is I come and I put anything recurring. Now, I don't typically put those recurring tasks here because I know that I have to do certain things. Like I know that I go to my religious meetings every Wednesday. I know that I do that also on Sunday. I know I go on service on Saturday. So I don't need to put that on my I need to put that on my monthly schedule first, because everything else gets planned around those spiritual things first. And so I don't need to put that on my at a glance pages, but I do put that here. So I'll come here first and I'll put things that don't change from month to month. I go ahead and write those things in, and then I start filling in with other things that are not recurring. Okay, so if I have lunch with someone, I'll put that here. And remember, I'm also going to refer to this calendar to see if I put something on this calendar that needs to be transferred here. I just do a double check. Usually, again, it's on my at a glance pages. So you see the trickle effect. So it goes into my inbox. From my inbox, it goes into my at a glance pages if needed, if it's an appointment or things like that. Or it's going to come into either here on my weekly spread, and then from here it goes weekly. So it's kind of like a funnel. Okay, so this is how my monthly would look from week to week. As you can see, I don't do too much with color and stickers and stuff like that because I'm just a different person now. I do use stickers every now and then, but I'm a very simple planner. I'd let my pen do the talking, if you will. And I use highlighters and things like that. And sometimes I might pop in a sticky note. So all of these are my tennis matches in brown. I don't always do that, but sometimes I will. And then sometimes I'll write other things on a sticky note as well. All right, so this is filled in with standard stuff and then stuff that isn't standard. It's all appointments or reminders. So like I have a ticket that I need to bring. So I wanted to remember to do that. So that's not something that I need to, that appointment or any place that I need to go. It's just something I don't want to forget. So I do write reminders here as well, as appointments and outings and things like that. Okay, so this is typically how my month is going to look. I also like to write people's anniversaries. So again, I refer to this monthly tasks little guide that kind of reminds me of things to check for. And so I want to make sure that I remember people's anniversaries, and so I can give them a card, as you can see down here at the bottom. If I have an Amazon return, I like to write it in as well, just to remember, because sometimes I forget, y'all. And overall, this is just places we have to go, you know, whether it's standard weekly things we have to do and go, or it's, you know, not. I write all of that in. So this is every place we're going for the entire month of September. All right. Okay, so then that trickles down to my week. I use our weekly all-in-one layout, and I love this layout so much because you can literally plan every single part of your life on this layout, even if you wanted to combine your business and your household. So I don't, because again, I have a separate work planner for that, but I'm obsessed with this layout because it's life-changing. Okay, I know that's dramatic, but I just feel like it just gives me everything. And then I can pop in a half sheet if I want to, you know, like if I want to pop in my grocery list or some sort of tracker or something like that, I can do that. So I pull tasks over from my monthly, and my monthly tasks for that particular week, because we plan week by week. So I don't come and plan all the weeks. I just take it week by week. So whatever the week is, I come and I take all of these tasks and I write them in on this part of my planner. Okay, the top part is reserved for focus. So once I write in all the plans here, I can kind of identify what my main focus is for the week. And then I also like to write in my financial here. And I love that it has a little financial section here, so I don't have to clog up this space because it's already limited space in terms of being able to write in what I need. So I have a section here dedicated to all things financial. And when it comes to my financial planning, that's done in a completely separate section. As you can see, we have a budget workbook. Now, I haven't done the budget workbook for this month. I don't always do the budget workbook, if I'm honest, you guys. And this is just my income for my personal income for YouTube. This isn't our shop income, and this isn't my husband's income. He's working from home. This is just my social media income. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll see what bill is due on what day, and then I'll write it in right here in this section. Okay, so this just allows me to have a little section to be able to see what's due, what bills I need to pay. Usually my bills are on a what word am I looking for, you guys? It's done automatically, auto pay, but there are some that aren't. And I just like to have an idea of what's coming out of my account for that week. All right. Then I also use a habit tracker. As you can see, we love it when things are checked off, but it just allows you to be able to see where you need to tighten up and where you're not doing so well. Using a habit tracker is great, and that's why I love that it's built in the planner system. All right, and then I have my to-do list. Now, this is where my inbox system comes into play, because remember, the inbox system is typically going to be things I need to do. It's not going to be an appointment, so that's why it wouldn't go on my monthly unless I want to remember something on a specific day, again, like this paid ticket. Otherwise, it's going to go on my to-do list. So I pick a few things from the inbox system that I want to tackle for that particular week, and I write it in. This is also to-do list items that I know I just need to do in general. So like I'm cleaning the deck, I'm pressure washing the deck this week. I need to check something on Parent Square. I want to sign up for a 5K. I need to order some books for Malachi. Addison needs a vision appointment. So like these are things that may not be on my inbox. So I pull some things from my inbox, but then also like some things that just pop into my head during the week that I know I need to get done. Okay. So, and then I can check that off because I got this But I did transfer some of these things to the next week. So that's what I do. If I'm not able to complete these things, then I do check them, or not check them, but I do transfer them to the next week. So that way I can get them done. Now, if there's a due date tied to them, it's gonna go here. So that way I make sure I'm doing it on that due date, okay? So y'all get it so far, okay? So this is everything that I'm doing this week. I'm not doing anything other than this. If it ain't here, it ain't happening. Okay. So that's why it's important to be very intentional and very strategic with how you set your planner up. So that way you can make sure that you succeed and you're not doing the most. Because if you write all the things in and you don't accomplish half of this, then what purpose was it to write it in? You know what I mean? So be very strategic, very realistic with what you can actually do during the course of a week. Okay. All right. So then if you come here, we plan the meals out. Now, again, that's why I love this layout, because yeah, we have a budget planner. Yeah, we have a meal planner, but you can literally write everything all in on this layout and bam, you don't need anything else. Okay. So then I write in all of the meals here. And if I do a full meal planner situation, that's going to be done in my meals section. So I added a new top tab for meals, which is a subsection of my home section. We do have a full meal planner, and sometimes I'll sit down if I'm feeling really, really good. Not really, really good, because that's dramatic. And meal planning is my favorite part of planning. But y'all, sometimes since we have this layout here, I do just write it in and I'll pop in a half sheet grocery list insert. So there's a secondary option, but we do have a full meal planner here. So I could come here at a monthly level and write in all the meals we plan to do for that month, recipes I want to try. And if I'm honest, I typically do it this way. It's just that whenever I have those lazy weeks, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write it here on the sidebar, pop in a half sheet grocery list, or do it on my phone, go ahead and order the groceries, and boom, I'm done. Okay, so there you have it. All right, there's also a wellness section here. So I write in some goals, or after the fact, I'll write in what goals I achieved, and then a mood, productivity, gratitude. All right, and then this is how my day looks. I break it down. Again, we pulled everything from the monthly level and we put it all here. If there's something that comes up, I'm gonna write it here. Okay, I may not go to the monthly and write it in the monthly and then write it here. I probably will just come here and write it here. All right, so this is how my weekly would look. This is standard stuff. This is to-do list stuff. This is all types of stuff that I write here on the weekly layout. Reminders, everything. It's not just appointments or places that I need to go. All right, and as you can see, not so much going on with the sticker situation. I just added some sticky notes, and that's pretty much it. You see my cleaning schedule here on the top left, and then this is my theocratic stuff in terms of the scripture I want to use in the ministry, a little bit about a presentation that I may want to use, and then anybody that I need to check in on. So don't you love this layout? I love this layout. This is one of our most popular layouts in our shop. Again, everything is from Fancy Plans Co., so no need to ask. Just head on over to there. If you see something that catches your eye, I'll try to link it below to make the process easier for you. So this is last week's. Let me pop this back in, and you'll see last week I did use some stickers from our sticker book, Watercolor Florals, just to kind of set the tone. And then this is a new insert that I recently added that helps me to break down Addison's schedule and things that she needs to do. And actually I did have it in the previous week, but I decided to use both sides. So since I used this side, I just transferred it to this week. All right. And just so you guys know, we're starting to add more whiteboards. So any new insert that I'm adding, I'm trying to add a whiteboard listing as well. So we do have this in whiteboard format. And what you would do is use one of our wet erase markers. I wouldn't recommend a dry erase marker because it's going to smudge on your pages, or a Sharpie is the best option. And in order to remove the Sharpie, all you're going to do is a little acetone or alcohol, and that's going to rub it right off the whiteboard. So there's a secondary option for you. So that way, if you know you're using an insert week to week, you don't have to do a new insert, or you don't have to print. You don't have to use a physical insert that you write on. You could just use the whiteboard. Okay, so this is what I pop in just for Addison's school stuff. So this is all her stuff that she has to do for school, whether it's a test, tutoring, anything that's happening at the school that I want to make sure I remember, it goes on here. I do also take this stuff and it goes on the monthly. So it's probably already on our monthly, and it transfers onto my weekly spread. And then I also write it here. So I write it in 3 places. So that's just what works for me. I technically could just have it here, but I like to have it here too, just because it's a part of my weekly schedule. Okay. I'm not always the best at checking things off, as you can see. I like having it here, but I'm not always the best at checking things off. So just so you know, doesn't mean that I didn't do these habits. It just means I didn't check it off for that day. Okay. I plan the same way every single week. And then on the bottom of this is just stuff that I need to do that doesn't have a date tied to it, but I want to remind myself to do it. So whether that's sending or making sure she has lunch money. I also want to make a visit to the school. She had a missing math assignment that she was able to complete. She needs some field trip money. We have to sign up for tutoring every single week. So I like to have her schedule here at the top and then some to-do list items there at the bottom. So I do keep this popped in every single week. But other than that, you can see the spread is pretty much the same as the previous weeks. Sometimes I'll add a checklist, sometimes I'll add stickers, sometimes I'll just highlight things. It's just a matter of how I feel. This is the current week. Today is Monday. So as you can see, we have a lot going on this week. That same insert that I told you guys I pop in. So next week, this will transfer with me to the next week because I want to write on the opposite side so I'm not wasting. But you can see how gorgeous that spread looks with the blue, yellow, a little light blue. I use stickers from our watercolor floral sticker book as well as highlighters. And I use some colored pens as well just to set the spread off. And again, this is how I planned last week. So if it ain't broke, we don't fix it. We write in everything that's standard. We transfer tasks on the to-do list. As you can see, the to-do list is shorter this week than it was last week because that means we are getting things done. Love that for me, even though I didn't check it off. But if I didn't get it done, I go ahead and write it in. I also leave a little spot at the bottom, you guys, because I like to write in my weight because I'm back doing hyperketosis. And I think it was 167.1. Yeah, I'm gaining weight. I gained a little bit of weight, so I'm back at it. I need to lose like 15 pounds. Okay, so I'm going hard. So I like to see that weight right there, so that way I'll know my starting point. So that's just something new that I started. Otherwise, everything else is the same in terms of how I write in my spread and what I log here. Okay, as you can see, I have all of my habits. You guys know that I'm doing a productivity sort of thing called the Great Lock-In. A lot of us are doing it for Q4. And so these are all the habits that I'm supposed to be working on for that. So I try my best to check them off. I have my top 2, which Addison's doing a dance fest for her dance studio on Saturday. I'm playing pickleball with some friends on Saturday. There's a sister that needs some encouragement, so we're gonna go do the whole thing and give her some encouragement. We all need encouragement, and so that's why it's a focus, because I know you probably like pickleball. Yeah, because it's for that. Pickleball is secondary. Okay, and so I can't think of another oh, I know my other focus is we're doing hospitality this week at our house, so I gotta clean this house up and get it ready, and I'm excited about that. So that is definitely a focus. And so that's my top 3, if you will. And then I have my meals for the week, what we're cooking or what I'm cooking. Same old stuff that I do week by week. It doesn't change. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So right now, this is how I plan, and this is what works for me in terms of making sure that I get everything done. This doesn't have anything to do with work. So let's jump into that really quick because this is a planner routine video. So once I plan my month out, again, at the beginning of the month, then I'm going to plan my week out, and then I'm going to plan out my work. Okay, there's also some other things that I do that doesn't really involve like a planner routine that I'll kind of show you. But typically on a Sunday when I sit down to plan is going to be this and then my work. And then I do plan for faith. I do plan for meal planning. But again, when I'm doing my lazy months, it's just going to be here on the sidebar with a grocery list popped in, or doing the grocery list on the phone, or I'm just going to go ahead and do it in the moment. I'm going to write all my meals out, and in that session on Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and order my groceries. So there's no need for a list. So that's another way that I do it. But there are other parts of planning that I do. Again, I plan my goals out. I plan my work out. I plan my finances out. I plan my meal planning out. I plan my faith out. Okay. Now, right now, again, because I'm just using the all-in-one for budgeting and for meals, the only other section I'm really digging into this month is my faith section. So I'll show you that before I dig into work, because work is going to take a little bit longer. So when it comes to faith planning, I just use our monthly inserts. And this is how that looks for me. So I'm a little bit behind with writing in my daily text. This is a new thing that I've implemented where I'm going to be writing in my daily scripture and what it teaches me. And then that's really it. So this is my monthly. So I only do this one time per month. I write in my schedule for studying. This schedule here goes on my main weekly spread at the top. That's the first thing that I write in every single week. So these dots here indicate my spiritual schedule. That's the first thing because that's the most important thing. Okay, so I write that here. As you can see, those dots across the top and here, right across the top on both sides. That's always going to be my ministry, not my ministry. That's always going to be my theocratic stuff, my study schedule and stuff like that for theocratic stuff. Okay. And so that's this is what I'm writing in every single week at the top there. Right. And then I will actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all of this whole thing right here. All right. I also put some reminders here to turn in my time, watch the broadcast. And then on the back side, I write in my goals. And then I write in any events. We have an app that we look at that tells us what events, like the second Saturday, we go in the ministry as a congregation. I like to work with the new family. And then we have cleaning. And then anything that's upcoming for October, December, and then I have January, hospitality. Okay, so that's what I write on the back of this. I also have October, November, and December already popped in and ready to be planned for. But this is just such a simpler way than just using a full faith planner. Every morning I get up and do the daily text. I'm just writing in what it taught me. And that's pretty much how I use this. Again, this is only on a monthly basis and then a daily basis when it comes to writing in the scripture of the day. So I do come in here daily. All right. Other than that, remember I told you because of the way that I'm doing my meal planning and my budgeting, I typically don't go in any other sections right now. Just for reference, I go into different sections. It's really just faith. I don't really go into family. Family just has a bunch of reference stuff in here. Addison's schedule. But again, we're not doing a flip through. I'm just kind of telling you the sections that I go in on a monthly and on a weekly basis. Home has my meal planner section, which I just showed you earlier. Goals. I do have goals in here, but I don't come in here every single day or every single month unless I need to write in a new goal. I typically, again, only stay in my work section, which I'm about to show you now, or my personal calendar for my home tasks. All right, so let's dig into work because this is a part of my routine as well. All right, so when it comes to work, this is how my monthly looks. All right, so these are all of my YouTube videos and then all of the standard stuff that I do on a weekly basis. Why is this not closing? Okay. So when it comes to planning this out, I'm going to write in all the standard stuff like every Sunday, I plan my videos and content. I do my new releases on Monday, my digital subscriptions Tuesday, blog posts on Wednesday, customer service Thursday. I mean, I do that throughout the week, but that's my main day where I'm really going to dig into that email. I try to go live, or I am going to try to go live. This is something that I'm trying to implement recently. On Fridays, I do restocks on Saturdays. So that's standard every single week. So I write that in first, and then I'm going to write in my video. So this is just my video and that standard thing that I do every single week. Okay. I'll tell you how I plan for my videos in a minute because I do that in Notion. I'm not going to show that to you because it's a lot. But Notion really allows me to put in a script if I want. I can really be detailed in Notion and I can move things around. So as you can see, sometimes I'll cross things off here, but in Notion, I can just literally drag it into a different place. And so sometimes I change my mind. Like today, I was supposed to do a monthly meal planning video and I was trying to do meal planning Mondays, but I feel like those videos aren't going to get as many views. I don't feel like y'all are as interested in meal planning as I am. So I decided that I'm going to switch it up on Mondays and do more like a functional planning video like this, like a how-to sort of thing, or like a how to plan series or something like that is going to be on Mondays. We'll see. I could switch it up. The key for me right now is just staying consistent with posting. Okay. So this to do here, where you see Monday through Sunday is all those things I just told you are standard throughout the week. All right. And then I write in any sort of random to-do list, things that I want to make sure I don't forget. And then my bulk filming schedule. I have two different variations. Either I'm going to do a bulk filming and film Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday video on Monday, and then Thursday, Friday is going to be filmed on Thursday, or I'm going to do bulk filming on Monday and Thursday, and then other videos. I'm sorry. Then I'm going to do a bulk filming on Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to bulk film Monday and Thursday's video because they're going to be playing with me. Again, we're still playing with the options here. And then Thursday, I'm going to do No, Tuesday I'm going to do Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, or Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday. Y'all, I'm still playing with this, so don't quote me on this. But I like to write in the bulk filming schedule here. I was just trying a different variation to see if I want to do a plan with me, but I did a test last week and that video didn't get that many views. So I was like, well, maybe y'all don't want to see a plan with me. So maybe I'll just go back to something like this, how to plan, and which means I'll do the first scenario in terms of my bulk filming schedule. So hopefully I didn't confuse you, but either way, we try to bulk film when we can. Okay, so this is my month at a glance. I don't use any other at a glance pages for work. I just come here as a part of my monthly planning process with my personal planner. I'm also going to come over here and plan my workout as well as finances and faith if I decide to use those sections or those planner pages, but definitely my meal planning and faith if I decide to use those planner sections or the inserts that go with those sections. And then I'm definitely coming into my faith planner section. So really when it comes to a monthly level of planning, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my personal monthly planning and then my faith planning. When it comes to weekly planning, I do my weekly work planning and then I do my weekly personal planning. Now on a Sunday when I sit down to do my monthly, if it's that time of the month to do that, I'm going to do the month and then I'm going to come and do the first week. Otherwise, I'm just typically planning week by week. Okay, so I changed my layout mid-month, well, early on in the month. So I was using this vertical line layout, which I absolutely love because I'm able to put my YouTube videos at the top, which again, we just work week by week. So I'm looking across to see what YouTube videos I'm doing and I'm going ahead and writing those here. And then I'm breaking down the different parts of my business and I'm logging in the tasks for that. I was doing a sidebar to-do list, but now I decided to use some different inserts, which I just go ahead and categorize within the inserts, which are these, the subject style inserts, which I absolutely love because again, the way my brain works is in sections. And so that's why the other planner inserts work for me as well, because it's kind of sectioning things off too in terms of my personal planning. So I come here and I write in the different parts of my businesses: YouTube Fancy Plans Co., At Home with Quita, Food and Fit, my new one, which is all about TikTok shop, sharing reviews, and then my monetize, which I don't do as much with this anymore. I do a little bit. So I decided this week to go ahead and change some things around. So I do the task batching inserts as well. So I just popped in the full page here. And this just allows me to write more. And then when I'm in my zone, so if I want to do more for At Home with Quita or the various different sections, based on what it says here at the top, I'm able to do more. But I really try to spread it throughout the week. But if I just want to go ahead and tackle that whole list in one day or during one section, because sometimes, again, I do just batch my day, then I can do that. So that's why I do keep that insert popped in typically in a week. So this is the new way that I'm now doing it. So it's YouTube Fancy Plans Co., Office Tasks, Food and Fit, my new TikTok shop, and then my to create section. So I just changed it up to office tasks. As you can see, I put a note here because I just felt like I didn't need a dedicated At Home with Quita, because that just really consists of YouTube and short form, and my short form videos are just reposted are from my TikTok shop videos. So I didn't really feel like I needed a section for that. And then I wanted to create a to create section because I do a lot of creating things. Like on Tuesdays we do the home box, so I want to create the inserts for that on Monday, and then various videos throughout the week might have an insert that goes with them that might need something created, and just random things I want to create. And then also the collection club that we do quarterly, I need to create for that, and then the 2026, and then just new ideas, new inserts and things like that that I want to create. I put that at the bottom. So that's last week, and then this is the current week. Same exact thing. I put my YouTube videos across the top there. So as you can see, very minimal in terms of what I use. I use a green pen, a green highlighter, and a green sticky note. Okay. And I just keep it consistent that way. So I broke all the things down, all the videos I want to post, short form, depending on what business, part of the business is for. These are just office tasks, things I need to look up, things I need to do, like bulk filming, YouTube thumbnails, my scripts, anything like that is going to go in office tasks. My food and fit is my weight loss journey. I typically share videos on TikTok, and that just really consists of 3 videos answering questions every single day. And then I like to order samples, and then sometimes I have due dates for my samples for my TikTok shop. And so I try to do 3 videos a day. I try to bulk that too. So I have a lot in drafts right now that I can just post. And then anything I want to create for that day. So typically when I'm looking at my day and my tasks that I need to get done, I'm looking vertically. I'm not worried about any of these other days. I'm just looking vertically, okay? Then I also like to keep this in here. These are just a log of different inserts I need to create, and then I'll pull from here to put in my create section. So this is based on you guys' recommendations of things that you want to see, and then I'll just pull a couple of inserts every single week to create something new. All right, then task batching, again, I just kind of talked to you about how that works. So in my office task window, typically these tasks are going to go in my office task window. I just divvy them up throughout the week, or if I just want to sit here and just get all this done, it's in one spot. I don't have to scan my week. It's already on one insert. I also keep a log of things I need to order on this page here. And then I said I wanted to start doing some time log tracking, but I haven't started that yet, but I do keep that insert just popped in. So when I'm ready to do it, it's there. And then that's the second half of the week. All right, so that's pretty much the gist of my planner routine. I don't worry about the next week until that Sunday. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to plan this whole entire week. I don't need to plan a month because we're only at the 21st. But when it comes time to plan that month, I'm going to take these inserts out, put them on discs, which I have a planner that I use to keep my whole entire year. And then I reflect at the end of the year to see what worked, what didn't work, what did I do, what did I accomplish, how do I feel? And so that's why I keep them for a year, and then I purge them on out unless it's something special about that layout or spread that I want to hold on to refer back to, or it's just sentimental for some reason. Okay, so that is my entire planner routine. Again, I'm just planning for my home life and my work life and my faith. Okay, I do have various other planner sections, again, like I talked about earlier, main ones being my home section, my finance section, which has my meal planner and my budget planner. But since this spread has it built in, all I have to do is come here, refer to what I have that I need to pay for that week, put it right on here. And my meal planning, if I don't complete a full meal planner spread, then I'm just going to write in my meals, do my grocery shopping all in one swoop, or I'm gonna pop in a meal planning insert. Okay, so just to reiterate what I talked about, it starts at a high level. So it's going to start for me with, if I have a random thing that I need to get out of my head, I'm just going to come to my inbox. If I'm on the go and out and about and don't have my planner system, it's going to get dumped into one of my capture systems, whether that's the Notes app or Notion, depending on what I'm trying to capture. It's going to come from out my inbox. Typically these are to-do list items as opposed to appointment items, and it's going to come to my at a glance pages. Again, if it's an appointment, not if it's a to-do list item. If it's appointment, it's going to come. I'm going to write it here. I try to fill in as much as I can when I know it. So if it's in my inbox system or on my calendar because I was out and about and I just took a quick note or put it on my calendar, I'm still going to take it from there, put it here. And then from here, it goes into my monthly. And there are a couple of things that I still try to also do, and I keep that as a to-do list here, my monthly tasks. I also have yearly tasks, as you can see, but that's just once a year. So I do pull from this to see what needs to be done. Typically it's a household thing, and I add that to the month that it goes in, but typically I don't do too much with this because it's just a one-time thing. So I come and refer to this, hey, what do I need to do? Boom, I'll pop it in. Okay, monthly tasks just give me a quick idea of what I want, how I want to fill this in. Some things I need to look into to make sure that I don't forget, whether it's anniversaries, I'll need to look at the school calendar, things like that. I come here and fill it all in, including all the standard things, tennis, Addison's Bible study, my outings, if I want to walk, I put it all here. I just dump it all here. And then I take that from here and I come to my weekly and I'll spread it all out. In addition to that, on my weekly, I'll put in my top 3 based on this. And then I'll put in my financial based on looking at the section here, put in my meal planner based on what I want to cook for that week, whether I did a full meal planner in my home section or not. I go ahead and write in my to-do list, which is pulled from my inbox, and my monthly calendar. And I start to just write in some things I want to get done. I keep a habit tracker. I write my to clean tasks, theocratic things here, and that doesn't change from week to week. I plan the same exact way. Decided to pop this in for Addison School so I can write in really quickly what she needs to do, whether that's a test, piano, anything like that. I do also write that in on my calendar here. Maybe my monthly as well, just depends on how I feel and when I know about it, because typically it was already on my monthly and I used my monthly to fill this in, and then week by week I'll check the school calendar to see what's going on. And so this is how it looks week to week for me. So I plan this, and then I plan my work, and then I plan my faith, and that's all I do on a monthly and a weekly basis to make sure that I stay on top of all the tasks I need to get done. I don't forget anything. Now sometimes I don't accomplish everything, but there's no way that I can't at least be 80% successful if I'm writing it in my planner. And that's why I think having some sort of planner system where you're writing everything in is so valuable. Now, having a hybrid with your phone and your planner is what works best for me, because you're not always gonna have your planner with you. Some people do take their planner with them. You're more than welcome to do that. It's just so much for me to lug this around every single place that I go. And now I have 2-inch expander discs. Who gonna put this in a bag? You can, I'm not telling you you can't, but it just works well for me to be able to have some sort of system where I can put things in digitally, reminders digitally, and then also in my planner, which is my main source of referring to things to see when I have to do things, is going to be my physical planner. All right, every week I sit down and I look at my planner and I say, what do I have going on this week? And then I attack. It has just been such a beautiful journey to see all the things that I've been able to accomplish by simply implementing a paper planner system into my life. So I definitely would recommend that for you as well. So that's it for this video, guys. Again, stay tuned for a full flip through, because I know you're probably interested now that you've seen how chunky she is. What does this have in that planner? And I'm going to share that with you, because there have been a lot of changes and updates, and there's a lot going on in this planner, and it's just such a bomb system that of course I want to share with you guys. So stay tuned. This week I'll be sharing this whole entire planner and how I have it structured for maximum success for me. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so much so that you'll give me a thumbs up. Hopefully you will subscribe to this channel here if you're new. I share this sort of content every single week, how you can stay productive and how you can get it all done with using a paper planner. So hopefully you are totally here for it, which means you'll subscribe to my channel. And as always, I would love it if you came back to catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.